Hey everybody, welcome back. It is week 2. We are entering unit 2, and it is also, as I am recording this, the 4th of July. So happy Independence Day to all those celebrating today. We're going to take a look first, of course, at unit 2 and go through what is due this week. And I'm also going to be showing you how to check once you get a grade, how to check for your feedback, because you're going to want to use that as you go into each new unit. You're going to use that feedback to make improvements. So first, though, let's take a look at unit 2. And we're working on reliable sources this week. Research is something that we're going to be working with for the rest of the term. Your first assignment did not involve any research, but from now on, we will be using it. Mostly because when we write for college, it is almost always involving some sort of research. So building essays, we are only writing one essay this term. It's due in week 7, and it is an argument essay. We'll be starting on that next week. This week, though, we're going to be talking about some of the building blocks that you will need to write effective essays. In this particular unit, your writing assignment, much like last unit, is a single paragraph, but this time around, you're going to be using research in it. Now, the good news is for this unit, the research is actually supplied for you, and we'll take a look at that here in a minute. But you're going to quote from a source that we know is reliable because it's been provided, and you're going to document that source information. So this particular document for your work this week will have at least 3 pages, because you'll have a cover page, a references page at the end, and then, of course, the paragraph in the middle. So let's take a look at our readings and resources first. You have readings and links to click here for building an essay. You've got 2 readings, very short readings, 1 page each, but readings on building an essay. One of the things that you're going to be focusing on in this particular thing, and this is hard to get used to for a lot of people, but you've probably been told this before. If you've ever heard from an English teacher that you should not use the word I in a paper, this is what we're talking about here. When we write for academic purposes, we want to stay in what we call third person objective voice. Part of the problem is that when we write in first person about I this and me this and you this, that kind of thing, first and second, we tend to essentially weaken our own writing. Because most people are tempted to say things like, I think this, or I feel this, or I believe this, or I read about this. And in reality, we know it's you who thinks it, because your name is on the paper, right? So that's one of the main reasons why we keep everything in third person, unless we are literally writing a personal narrative like you did in Unit 1. So that's something we're going to be reading about here, and you're going to be using this knowledge in every assignment that you do from here on out. Then in the second section, you've got information about finding reliable resources. And even though the resource that you're using this week is provided for you, we are going to be doing our own research starting in Unit 3. So this is good background for that. It's going to get you ready for that. So you have a reading. You also have a tutorial about finding reliable sources through Academic Writer, which is one of the resources in our class. If you look over on the far left-hand column, you'll notice over here with the other help items, APA 7th edition, Tutor Me, then you've got Grammarly and Academic Writer. And I really encourage you to dig into these resources, because they can be super, super helpful. Oops. I clicked, sorry. The next section is on direct quoting and how to cite your evidence. This is the hardest part. I absolutely guarantee you this is the hardest part. A lot of people think that it's harder to come up with ideas about what to write, but I promise you that what you have to say is important, but citing properly is how you say it. And there are very specific rules. So just like in math or history or science, there are procedures and processes that we need to do to make sure that you do things the correct way. So this is where you're going to be learning about that, or starting to learn about that. In this particular week, we're going to use our resource by quoting it directly. So you're going to put quotation marks around it. You're going to choose a sentence that you want to quote. You're going to put the citation with it. But there's a couple other ways that we use research. One is by paraphrasing, which means taking something that they've said and putting it into your own words. The other one is summary, which is where you're actually boiling down the important information into the most important points. Whenever you use research, whether you quote it, paraphrase, summarize it, you have to show what the source was where you got that information. And there's two places in your paper that happens. One, of course, is the references page. And most people are aware that when you have a research paper, the last page is going to be a bibliography. It's going to list the sources that you used. The trickiest part is using the in-text citation. And that's where we're going to be concentrating on. You're going to be practicing it pretty much every week for the rest of the term. But this is the first week, of course, that we're going to be working on that. So you'll want to do the citing evidence activity here. And then there is a video, not a terribly long video, but about how to find resources using post-university's library. You can use libraries these days without ever actually setting foot in a building that says library on the front of it. So we're going to be using the library a great deal. Now, like I said, this week, the source is actually provided for you. So you will access it using the library, but you don't have to worry too much about how to search the library yet. This is just getting you ready for things to come. Okay, so those are your readings and resources that you need to work on. And then you have two assignments, just like last week and just like pretty much every week for the whole entire time. The first one is always a discussion board. So the Unit 2 discussion board is on reliable sources. The questions that you are answering are, what do you think the biggest difference is between an unreliable source and a reliable source? And why do you think a reliable scholarly source is always stressed in academic writing? So after you've done the readings and resources, you will have some information about that will help you answer it. Now, one of the things that's different this week is that the deadlines apply starting in Unit 2. So you should have your own post on the discussion board by Wednesday night. Then you have until Sunday, the following Sunday, of course, when the week officially ends, to respond to fellow classmates, to me, to whoever. But you'll have at least 2 responses to others in addition to your own post. Now, a lot of people really struggle with what to say. I'll post some information later in the week that may help you with that. But just keep in mind that when you are responding to others, you don't have to have as long of a response as your original one for the prompt, but you do want to have at least 3 to 5 sentences. One of the things that you can always do when you're responding to others is to maybe ask them a question about what they posted, because that's going to help kind of get the ball rolling as far as discussion. So don't stress about it, but that's a new requirement that takes place this week and will continue throughout the rest of the term. Finally, of course, you have your Unit 2 writing assignment. This is a supported paragraph, which means you are only writing one paragraph just like you did last week, but this time it's going to be in third person. It's going to be academic in nature. So it's not going to be personal. It's not going to be about your own life or people that you know. Every time we have a writing assignment, there is a link that shows just like this, Unit 2 assignment, complete instructions and grading rubric. This is a document that personally, if I were doing this class as a student, I would always print these out. Now, you don't have to, of course, but I always find having something in writing that I can look at over and over again, as opposed to just looking at it once and then maybe coming back and checking it again, is super helpful. This has all of the requirements that you need to do in order to succeed at this writing assignment. Just like Unit 1, you're going to create this in a Word document. You're going to, and it is going to look like an APA paper. So I'm going to switch my screen here in just a minute and show you one of those. But let me go ahead and go through the requirements, because of course we want to make sure we're understanding those. So you have an article, you have a link to an article. You can reach it by clicking this link right here. I'm not going to open it because I am signed into a different library and I don't want to mess it up. But you will sign into your post library with your normal login information, and you will find this article available for you. The other cool thing is that that is also your well, here is the full citation that you will need to put on your references page. It's right here available for you. So you can actually copy and paste this or just type it the way it is. Okay, so let's take a look at what it says here. You will be creating one paragraph that answers the question, why or why not should American citizens be allowed to vote by mail? The article above provides an overview of the issue of Americans voting by mail. After reading the above article, you will write one paragraph that asserts your objective and clear position answering the question above. Your writing should be done in third person. So you won't say, I think Americans should be allowed to vote. You'll just say Americans should be allowed to vote by mail, or Americans should not be allowed to vote by mail. The key to this assignment is to make sure that the 7 to 9 sentence paragraph you write only has one topic. So it's either for or against voting by mail, and includes evidence to support that topic. In other words, you need one main reason to explain why you think Americans should or should not be able to vote by mail. You don't need to have 12 reasons. Your answer to the above question should explain that reason in your paragraph with one direct quote from the article. Review the Citing Evidence Interactive, which we looked at in this unit, for information on how to include a direct quote in your work. Your evidence should go in the middle of the paragraph so that you can completely introduce it and explain how it supports your topic. So you don't want your quote at the very beginning or at the very end. You want it somewhere in the middle. Here are some additional requirements and instructions. First, begin your paragraph with a clear topic sentence that states where you stand on the question above. So your topic sentence will literally probably either be Americans should be allowed to vote by mail or Americans should not be allowed to vote by mail. It can be that simple. Next, include supporting sentences that explain and prove your topic. Don't use I, you, me, our, you, or your. And then in the center of your paragraph, include a direct quote from the reading as one piece of evidence to support your topic with an in-text citation that looks like this. Now, I will say this is something that a lot of people get wrong, and I know why they get it wrong, but this name does not match this name. Okay, you want to cite the author of the article. So instead of Carter, that would say Delascio or Delascio dash Martinuk. You need that whole name, and it will go inside the parentheses, and then you will have the 2021, and then the P period refers to the paragraph number. So you will actually put a number there instead of just having the hashtag sign, obviously. Finally, comment on and explain the quotation. Wrap up your paragraph with a concluding sentence. So you're going to have a Microsoft Word document or PDF, which I'm going to show you what it'll look like in just a second. You will have a title page, properly formatted in APA, and a references page. Then you should still have plain old 1-inch margins, double spacing, all the normal things. The direct quote will be in the center. Use objective person, reminds you again, paragraph should be at least 7 sentences long, and have that citation and the reference at the end. So let me show you what the document will look like. Now, this is a longer document because this is a sample or a pre-sample for the Unit 4 assignment, but it looks the same. Your title page has the title of your work. It has, why am I clicking things? I didn't mean to click that. It will have your full name. It will have English post-university. This is all the same. And of course, it will have a real date, new date, not April 3rd, 2022. But so you'll just fill in the blanks there. You'll notice this looks very much like the template that's in Unit 1, and you can certainly use that template. On the second page, you will want to have the title, the actual title of your essay, and then you will only have one paragraph. This has more than that, but this one shows you right in the middle, we have the information from our research. Now, this one is a different article because again, in Unit 4, we're going to be finding our own resources. So, but this would say, according to whatever, it would have Delasio Martinuk, 2021, and it would be a direct quotation. And I think I have one. Yeah, here's one down a little bit lower that has a quotation in it. So the quotation will have quotation marks around it, all of those wonderful things. Okay. And on your references page, you will have the actual citation that is in the assignment sheet. So I go back to that. Notice that points of view is in italics. So if you copy and paste this, you may have to put that back in italics. Sometimes italics doesn't hold over from where you copy and paste. So just be careful with that. All right, but that's what it will look like. And then in your in-text citation, instead of Carter, you will have Delasio Martinuk, but you'll change the hashtag to a correct paragraph number. All right. So with that being said, I want to show you very quickly before I let you go. I want to show you what it's going to look like when you get grades back, because I've already graded the discussion boards from Unit 1, and I'll be grading the paragraphs from Unit 1 shortly. So you'll want to get your feedback, and that will also help you to make sure you're doing what you need to do on the Unit 2 assignments. So if you see a grade in your grade book, which you will get, you will click on My Grades, and you will notice that there's a dark, bold grade, and there is a little comment box. Now, instead of clicking on the comment, which you absolutely can, that will show you like the kind of overview feedback, but I want you to get in the habit of clicking the actual link over here, because this is where you can see everything all at once. You've got several things going on. You've got the feedback, which if you click the speech bubble, this is what you will see. It will show you what I have written over in the comments section. But you also have, when you open the full document, you also have comments in the actual thing itself. So here is a comment. You'll notice it's highlighted and it says, don't forget to update the title. The comments will show up over here. You can click them to see. The other thing that I may do from time to time, this shows a squiggly underline, which would indicate there's a problem with that. This shows something that has been absolutely marked through. So that would mean that you should have deleted it. And I think that's all I put there. Yeah. So make sure you are checking your feedback when you get your papers back. Not only the papers, but of course the discussion boards as well, because you do get feedback on those. And then you can also open the rubric. This I find extremely helpful because it kind of helps you decide what areas you need to target. So on this particular one, this student got a proficient score in description and details, which is a good score, not exemplary, but it's good score. Got exemplary in reflection, got a needs improvement in organization and structure. So that would be something they would want to pay attention to a little bit more later. Paragraph length, was it long enough? It was almost long enough. And you can check yours against your thoughts. If you score in the needs improvement category or a novice category, then those are areas where you will want to specifically target as you are making changes, all of those things. So that's what your feedback looks like. That's what the rubric looks like. If you have any questions about this or anything else, of course, feel free to reach out. Oh, while we're on that, I also wanted to give you a little heads up. I'm sure most of you have noticed it, but on the discussions page at the very top, there's something called Ask the Instructor. This is a discussion board. So when you post on it, when you create a thread, everybody will be able to see it. So when you ask questions here, does the assignment a reference page for these questions should be general. They should be about the assignments themselves. If you have specific questions about your grade, you should send me a private message, an email. But these are great for asking questions. You also are able, I'm going to go ahead. Oops. Oh, shoot. I didn't do it. You can also subscribe to this, which means that every time anybody posts, whether it's me answering the question or it's a student asking the question, it will alert you with an email, so you can keep up with that. Sometimes a fellow student will ask a question that you didn't even realize you had yet. So it can be really helpful to subscribe to that Ask the Instructor board. All right, I think that's really it now. So I hope everybody has a great holiday weekend and is having a great holiday weekend. And I will be back with you for sure next Monday via video, but I'll post some additional resources for this particular assignment for this week as well throughout the week. All right, everyone take care. Have a great week and I will see you next Monday.